Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Signal. Today I'm breaking down one of the stealthiest cyber intrusions we have seen this year, the Ribbon Communications breach. Here's the deal. In just a few minutes, you will know exactly how a nation-state actor managed to stay inside a telecom provider's network for almost a full year, and what you can do this week to make sure it doesn't happen to you. We'll unpack the tricks they used, the blind spots they have exploited, and the 5 practical actions that can shut down this kind of attack before it even starts. And stick around. At around the halfway point, I'll show you 2 ready-to-paste detections you can drop straight into your SIEM today. If you're part of our Daily Signal crew, you already know what to do. Comment checked if you're running those detections after watching this video. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now because this channel is where threat intel meets hands-on defense. Alright, let's get into it, and here's what actually happened inside Ribbon Communications. So, the story. Around December 2024, a group of nation-state hackers quietly slipped into Ribbon Communications network. And then, nothing. No ransomware note, no defacement, just silence. They stayed hidden for almost a year, completely undetected, until September 2025, when the company finally realized something was wrong. Now, why does this matter to you? Because Ribbon isn't just another telecom vendor. They sit right in the middle of the internet's plumbing, connecting major carriers, government agencies, and even defense networks. When someone compromises a player like that, they don't just hit one company, they potentially gain visibility into hundreds. The attackers accessed files from at least 3 smaller customers. But the real danger isn't just about stolen data, it's the access. They got a foothold in the trust layer that links everyone together. So before we go deeper, think about this. If someone compromised a vendor that bridges your network, would you even know? Keep that question in mind because in the next part we'll trace how this breach unfolded step by step, and where every defender tends to miss the first clue. So let's rewind a bit the tape and walk through what actually happened, because the timing here says everything about how stealthy this operation was. December 2024, the attackers quietly got in. We still don't know exactly the precise entry point. Could have been a compromised credential, an exposed admin portal, or maybe a supply chain foothold. But from that day on, they were inside. Then, for almost 9 months, they moved slowly, mapping networks, watching patterns, probably collecting credentials and understanding who talked to whom. No noisy malware, no ransomware, just pure espionage-style patience. Fast forward to early September 2025, Ribbon's team finally spot something is off. They dig in, realize the intrusions has been going on for months, and they call in the cavalry, third-party responders, and law enforcement. And by late October, it goes public, a full disclosure confirming a nation-state operation that went undetected for nearly a year. Now, here's the crazy part. During all that time, the attackers didn't go after data centers or production servers. They hit employee laptops holding customer data. A quieter path, one that slips past most security dashboards. So, the key takeaway here? Well, even the most sophisticated defenses can be blind to slow, careful intrusion. Up next, I'll show you how they likely stayed in, the exact tactics that made this breach possible, and what you should start hunting for right now. So, How do you live inside a telecom provider's network for nearly a year without tripping alarms? Let's try and break it down. It usually starts simple. An identity abuse or credential theft, maybe a phished admin log or an exposed VPN account that nobody remembered existed. Once they are in, they don't rush, they blend in. Next come persistence. Think service accounts that never expire, scheduled tasks that look like maintenance scripts, or PowerShell commands that mimic normal admin behavior. They use living off the land techniques. No flashy malware, just the tools you already trust: WMI, SMBs, and PowerShell. While defenders chase alerts from endpoints, the attackers quietly enumerate Active Directory, map interconnects, and study how partners link up. And when they finally pull data, it's small chunks, often from laptops, not server, to stay invisible. This is why traditional detection struggles. Nothing loud happens. It's all a normal admin activity, just in the wrong hands. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because in the next section I'll show you exactly what to hunt for. Real event IDs, real queries, real signals that can expose this kind of stealth, even if they have been hiding for months. Okay, time to roll up our sleeves. If you are still here, this is where you get the payoff. Real usable detections you can plug into your SIEM or Sentinel today. Let's start with Windows and Sysmon events. Keep your eyes on 4624 and 4672. Those are your privileged logons. If you see a new admin logging in from an unusual IP, that's your first red flag. Then check 4688 and Sysmon Event 1, new process creation. Combine that with 4104 for PowerShell activity, and you will catch a lot of the quiet abuse these actors rely on. Oh, and one of my favorites, look for duplicate tokens or the same device ID logging in from new geography. That's pure gold for catching hijacked sessions. Now, let's sweeten this with two ready-to-paste KQL snippets. First, rare admin logon from a new source. Run this one and you will instantly see accounts doing things they have never done before. Second, PowerShell accessing LSASS memory, the classic credential dump attempt. If that fires, it's game on. And here's the mini challenge for you today. Copy these queries, pass them into your SIEM, and command checked once you have run them. I'll pin the most interesting finding in the comments below. Let's crowdsource the patterns that attackers don't want us to see. In the next part, we'll talk about the bigger picture, what this breach really means for organizations like yours, and why the scariest part isn't the stolen files, it's the trust that got broken. So here's the big question. What's the real risk in a breach like this? Because if you only look at the surface, a few stolen files, some affected customers, you might think, not that bad. But that's the trap. The real danger is in the position Ribbon holds. They are not just a target, they are a gateway. They sit between major telecom carriers, defense agencies, and enterprises. So when a nation-state actor gets in there, they don't just compromise one company, they compromise the trust fabric of the entire system. Imagine it like this. Every call, every packet, every handshake between carriers passes through providers like Ribbon. Once an attacker has visibility there, they can map entire communication networks, profile traffic, and even prepare future access routes into critical organizations. And let's not forget the 10 months of silence. That's a long dwell time, long enough to study defenses, harvest credentials, and maybe even plant dormant access for later. So the takeaway isn't just patch and move on. It's that every organization connected through a service provider inherits part of that provider's risk. Your defenses are only as strong as the weakest partner link. Next, we'll turn that insight into action, and I'll walk you through what to do in the next first 72 hours after you suspect a breach, so you can stop this kind of stealth before it spreads. So here we are, and let's make it practical. If you ever find yourself in a situation like Ribbons, here's what to do in the first 72 hours. This is your containment window. Miss it and you are playing catch up for months. So first, today, lock down identity and access. Turn on MFA and conditional access for every admin and vendor account. Yes, even the temporary ones. Next, hunt for token anomalies. Same device ID, new IP, that's your early warning that a session's been hijacked. And run EDR full scans on all admin workstation and jump hosts. That's where the attackers usually lurk. Then, this week, audit every vendor tunnel, API, and interconnect. If it doesn't need constant access, shut it down or put it behind least privilege. Deploy east-west traffic monitoring inside your network. This is where stealthy movement happens. And rotate all credentials tied to your core systems, especially those used for integrations or automation. Think of this phase as your reset to known good. It's not just about kicking them out, it's about closing the doors they used to get in. If you're following along and plan to test at least one of these controls today, drop a quick "done" in the comments. That's your public commitment to stronger defense. Next up, we'll talk about how to build this resilience by design. So you're not scrambling after breach, but you are already a step ahead. So, how do you design resilience, not just react to attacks? Because after a breach like Ribbons, you realize the problem is not just a bad login, it's the architecture that lets one compromise spread everywhere. Here's the mindset shift. You are not protecting a network anymore, you're protecting connections between networks. Start with zero trust on partner links. That means every connection, even from untrusted vendor, is verified, checked for device posture, and limited to exactly what is needed. If you still got always-on vendor VPNs, it's time to retire them. Then tier your admins. Keep tier 0 accounts, the domain gods, separate. No internet access, and use PAM for any elevation. You would be amazed how many breaches happen because an engineer checked an email from a domain controller. Next, log your control planes. Things like SBCs, VPN gateways, and SASE edges. Those devices are gold for attackers and blind spots for defenders. And finally, the underrated one, laptop policy. No customer data should live on a laptop, period. Use DLP, encrypted storage, and conditional access for data exports. That's how Ribbons attackers grabbed customer files through local copies. If you are nodding right now, that's good, because this is where mature defenders live. Not just patching systems, but designing containment into their environment. Coming up next, we'll zoom out and follow the money. What motivates nation-state hackers to target infrastructure like this, and what that tells us about what's coming next. So, why would a nation-state spend months quietly hiding inside a telecom provider? Simple. Access equals power, and power equals leverage. This was not about stealing credit cards or quick cash. This was about espionage, staying invisible while collecting the kind of intelligence that money cannot buy. Think about it. Telecom providers sit at the crossroads of governments, militaries, and corporations. If you can see who is calling whom, when, and from where, that's a strategic goldmine. These actors follow the money logic, just on a geopolitical scale. They invest long-term, so gain access, maintain visibility, harvest metadata, and prepare footholds for future influence. And that's exactly why they keep things quiet, because noise kills value. From a defender's perspective, that means the signs are subtle. Low volume data egress to brand new infrastructure, periodic directory reads, service accounts that slowly drift in privilege, and rare protocols showing up on management hosts. These are behavioral breadcrumbs that the kind most SOCs basically overlook. But if you start correlating them, especially around service to interactive pivots or directory query spikes, you will start catching the invisible stuff before it becomes tomorrow's headline. So here's your move. Tag your interconnect admin groups, baseline their normal behavior, and alert on anything outside that pattern. It's the single best way to expose these espionage-driven intrusions before they have time to bloom. And stay tuned, because next we'll wrap up with a clear, ready-to-use playbook, the one you will want to save and share with your team right after this video. So let's bring it all together. Here's your post-ribbon breach survival checklist, the steps that turn lessons into action. Start with visibility. Make a complete inventory of every vendor link, tunnel, and API that touches your environment, and assign an owner to each one. No orphan connections, no "I think IT handles that." Next, tighten identity. Use conditional access rules with device compliance and geo restrictions. And please, no more permanent global admins. Switch to just-in-time elevation through PAM, so privileges exist only when they are actually needed. Then the detection part. Ingest your PowerShell 4104, Sysmon 1.10.11.22, and Windows 4688 logs. Correlate them, because the patterns that hide individually start to shine when you see them together. On the endpoint side, enforce DLP, so customer data never leaves on local drives again. And if you use interconnect systems or code signing keys, rotate them now, not later. Finally, test it. Run a tabletop exercise where you simulate a vendor compromise scenario. Invite your SOC, legal, PR, and OT teams. See how fast you would respond if the ribbon story happened to you. You're watching this and planning to print this slide for your next team meeting. Please comment "ready." It helps others find this playbook and reminds YouTube that this kind of real-world content really matters. Now, in the next and final part, we'll close with what this breach teaches us about the bigger picture and how the security community can turn incidents like this into momentum for everyone. All right, you made it this far. You're already ahead of most teams. You now know how a nation-state actor lived inside a telecom provider for nearly a year, and more importantly, how you can catch something like this before it catches you. Here's what I want you to do next. Take one of the detections from the video, just one, and run it today. Tag a teammate, share your results, and comment "done" once you've got that alert live. Let's see how many of us can actually make vendor compromise detection a standard by tomorrow morning. If you found this breakdown useful, please hit like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share it with a friend who works in a SOC or SecOps role. They will thank you later. And don't forget, I'll be updating some of the comments of you guys with fresh IOCs and new details, as they come out of the ongoing Ribbon investigation. So remember to check back here. You've just learned the playbook nation states don't want defenders to master. So now go apply it and stay safe. I am Max, Point Break Security, and I'll see you in the next Daily Signal drop.